to finding calm in the chaos. I am Denise Sith, and this is my podcast. Hello, 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 everybody. Happy Wednesday. I'm back. I hope you guys are all having a great summer. We're having a great summer. Like, I'm not even besides Italy. You know what I'm saying? It was really hot here for a little bit here in the Midwest, but I feel like that's kind of re-regulated itself. This week has been like 80s, and I can deal with that. We've had like some thunderstorms, but what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Nothing. That's what you can do. You just roll with the punches, peeps. Roll with the punches. I'm doing well. If you don't know who I am and you're new to the podcast, my name's Denise. Apparently I got some new listeners and I was like, hey, how are ya? Just saying. Welcome to my world of insanity and how I just make the most out of it. I'm just rolling with the punches. I'm not getting any younger. And all I'm doing is getting older. So if you don't roll with the punches, what are you doing? You're not living. That's what you're doing. What's been going on this week? Jeez. I feel like so much has happened. I start recording again and all of a sudden it's like there's so much going on. Welcome to summer. That's what happens. I don't know. I mean, we started riding again. Pete's on the horse again. So that's cool. We got, that all relocated. We just couldn't. We were gone for almost all of June. So now that we're back, we can do that. One of my best friends is moving from North Carolina to Tennessee this week. Insane. What else is going on? What do we do? Jeez, it's like crazy. Oh, Peter started like this STEM class once a week that I signed him up for summer, just for July. And he had a blast. It was so much fun. And I didn't realize how close it was to the house. Sorry. I was like, wait, what? That's awesome. And what else did we do last weekend? We did Rib Fest, our Rotary Club in our local town, the Rotary Rockin' Rib Fest in Lake in the Hills, Illinois. It's one of the last Rib Fests, I believe, in this area. There was one in a nearby suburb of Naperville, but they stopped that. So, and I don't know if they still do the Rib Fest down in Chicago. I don't even care because I'm not going to Chicago. I said it and I don't care. Okay. I just will not support Chicago anymore. They're just out of their minds. They've ruined my city, and until it's like back, I don't really care. I'm just rolling with the punches. But sometimes you have to understand that, like, a lot of people are like, why don't you do that? Why don't you do this? And it's because I feel like a lot of times we say that we have a belief in something and we have a firm, a lot of people nowadays have real strong opinions, but they don't back them up with anything except screaming and hollering. For me, it's like, if I disagree with something, I wholeheartedly live my life doing that. I want to support things that are positive things in my life. And, that goes with corporations, food companies, all of that stuff. If we don't like certain stuff, we don't do it. Like nothing. I'll go to the corporate level. I can't even tell you when's the last time we shopped at Target. I bought something at Target the other day and I felt dirty because I sent a birthday present to somebody. And I'm like, is Target still like crazy? I don't know. But I didn't shop at Target for the longest time when they started doing weird stuff. So I'm like, nope. You want to push political agendas? I'm not interested in supporting you. I'm interested in coming, buying a coffee and shopping. I'm not interested in having things shoved down my throat. So, sometimes you got to put your money where your mouth is. And I do. I'm just like, hey, I don't believe in that, so I'm not going to support it anymore. I have yet to set foot into Menards and never will, unless they make literally a public statement that they were complete fools through the COVID pandemic, because I was actually discriminated upon and had the Disabilities Act violated against me and everything. And I was just like, you know what? Just gonna not ever shop there again. Cut up those cards and never been back. So thanks, Home Depot and Lowe's and Ace. There's always somebody who'll fill your shoes. Trust me, there's nobody's safe. But I suggest you all do that. Might be for the same reason. Might be for a complete opposite reason of mine. But if you hold strong convictions, and for me, I have strong Christian convictions, and I want to make sure that I'm living a life and it's true. And so that's what I'm doing now. I've been. So there's that. So our Rib Fest was going on, and I felt so bad because, again, it's just our Rotary Club, and they do a great job. There's bands, rock bands. There's always obviously rocking, right? Rock and Rib Fest. But it's really like they did a good job. This year I feel like they rearranged it all. Like they must have hired like an event planner or an event architect, maybe. I don't know what it's called. An exterior designer. I don't know what they're called, but it was set up this year differently than it normally was. And it was spectacular. It allowed for more parking. It allowed for just an ease to get in. It allowed for traffic to be flowing because it's in a small residential area in our big park. So I'm like, oh, okay, this was like way better. Now we're not on the side. We're not near it. It's like a 4-minute drive, but we drive nonetheless because I'm not walking across like two major things, a farm. It's just, we'd have to go way out of our way. Just go and park. Who cares, right? It's free to park. There's a donation to come in that goes all to the local counties, all of our neighboring events and charities and needs and whatnot. The money goes to that. But it started Thursday through Sunday, and Thursday and Friday got rained out. Like we had severe thunderstorms, lightning. It was really brutal. And I just felt so bad because these people plan this for like the whole year, right? And I'm like, man, they're getting rained out. So, and then you have to consider they do have like actual circuit barbecue smoke vendors that come. And this is time out of their schedules as well. Yeah, they're getting paid, I'm sure. But I mean, you've got all of that meat that you're cooking and food. And if you get rained out, you've now thrown off your numbers with food. So I was like, I hope everything's okay, right? So they got rained out on Thursday night. They got rained out on Friday night. They were open up for a partial day on Friday, but then they still got rained out. So that kind of stunk. And then the following day, so Saturday, they got to stay open all day. It was overcast. It was beautiful. There were like a few light showers, but nothing that was like, it was, short sprinkle, and then it passed. And then Sunday morning, we were going to go on Sunday. So we went to church and then decided we would do that for lunch. And so we did. We went over there. We had a completely different plan this year. It's like Italy has changed us with respects to food. I'll go into that in a little bit. But we went into this Rib Fest with a different plan than we usually have. But they posted, I always follow their posts and stuff, but I was looking in that Saturday, they had so many people come out to basically help them because they were rained out Thursday and Friday, that it was the best day they had done in their history, which warms my heart. I'm like, all right, thank goodness it's all been made up, because this way a lot of good organizations and charities and stuff won't get, a short stick because they missed out on 2 days, right? Because this is all going to local community. The money all goes to local community. And it's $5 an adult to get in, or anybody over 13 and above. So Pete's free still for now. So normally we go in and we try to pick like 2 places and we'll get like a full plate. So like I love brisket, the boys like ribs. I don't really care for the sides, but we used to get them with the sides and all that kind of stuff and, whatever. And like you eat like one and maybe a quarter and you're done, right? You don't really get to taste all the vendors. They usually have at least 6. So this year they had 6 again, 3 and 3. They were across from each other on the field, and then lots of other vendors. Roasted corn, The lemonade stand. Oh, the lemonade stand this year was the bomb. First off, you know when they make the fresh squeezed, and there's usually so much sugar in it, it's just horrible. Whoever made this was amazing. It was like the perfect amount of sweetness, but not too tart. It was like perfect lemonade. It was fantabulous. So we just ordered, like, I call it the bucket cup. We didn't get it. They were just paper. It's no plastics, but just a little like bucket cup, because I figured we can all split it. And that's what we did this year. We went in thinking we're not getting full plates. We're just going to get meats, right? And then we'll split it and then walk around little to the other one and decide what we were going to do. So we kept going like on one side, then the other side, then one side, then the other side. And, you know, getting a different table each time, just looking around. And I think it worked out really well. We started two of the places we've ate before, like our two favorites. So I was like, you know what? We always eat there and we haven't ate at any of the other places. So why don't we eat at the other places? And then if we get to them, we get to them. And if not, we don't. So we didn't get to them, but we got to eat at 4 places rather than 2. So our theory, our new method actually like super worked. I think in the future we were getting half slabs because that gives you like maybe 2 ribs each, right? Sometimes I didn't want 2, so I'll just have 1. I'm a brisket person, so it's like, and all of the brisket comes in a sandwich. So I'm like, yeah, I don't want the bread, and I don't want it chopped. I'm not a fan of like chop brisket. I like when there's like chunks in there, and usually that means it's too effing dry. And I'm like, no, whatever. So I basically was skipping out on brisket. The ribs were all really good. Everyone had like good smokes, good barks, different sauces. You know, it's nice to see all the different kind. If you've never really been to a place that has like different vendors that do actual smoke barbecue and all that, you should really do that, because it's like literally a I'm trying to think of a word. It's almost like electricity to your taste buds. You get all of these different, you know, depending on what woods they use to smoke, what coals they use, how they, you know, do they dry spice it? Do they wet sauce it? Do they do both? It's just unbelievable. Just it's an excitement for your taste buds, that's for sure. And so we did ribs. We started off with some brisket, but the only place to get it that wasn't chopped or was chopped that I thought was acceptable was mac and cheese. So we got a brisket mac and cheese at the first place, and that was great. We did some ribs, and then came back to the last place, and it was a place that I've never made it to before, but it's been there pretty much every year. I'll also mention that we have to vote. We can vote on the favorite rib. So as you leave, you could scan your barcode and just, you know, vote. They'll just ask you, what was your best ribber? And you just put it down, right? So we wanted to try, and Mr. Sith noticed that the last place, which was Texas Outlaw Barbecue, they all have their awards out there, guys, the trophies, what they've won for all along, their banners, like the state fair, all that kind of stuff. But Texas Outlaw Barbecue, we've never quite ever made it to them. And it was unbelievable. So we ordered, Mr. Sith saw that they had like a box that had ribs. So it was a half slab of ribs, brisket, baked beans, and slaw. And so we just got that. It was just the best deal. They gave you tons of food. It was filled to the brim. Let me tell you, everything, and there wasn't a thing in there that wasn't scrumptious, okay? The ribs were perfect. Because I love when you got good meat that stays together, but if you pull it, it falls clean off the bone. Excellent bark, not too smoky. Just amazing. You could still taste the meat. You can taste the spices. Their sauce was amazing. The brisket, juiciest damn brisket I've ever had in my life. Now, it wasn't the strips like I like it, a clean slice, but it was just chopped in like squares, with some loose pieces, which I appreciated. It was delicious. Peter loved the damn baked beans. He ate all the baked beans. I'm like, okay, have some beans, my friends. And then the slaw was very good, but that's Mr. Sith's thing. He loves slaw, so he ate all the slaw. But that was our winner, hands down. There wasn't a bad thing on there. Not saying that the other ribs weren't good. They were good, but they weren't as good as those. So if you're ever in the area of Illinois, McHenry County, in July, let me know. It's usually the second weekend in July or the weekend after the 4th of July, is the Rotary Rock and Rib Fest in Lake in the Hills, Illinois. I highly suggest it. It's amazing. It's a fun time. They have great bands. They have local bands, big bands. It's a good time. It's a good time. So we did that. And after that, we wound up going to a new park that was done at another nearby neighboring city down by the river. And then we did that for about an hour and then just went to downtown Algonquin because that's where we were, which is right off the river, and went to have ice cream. And I wound up going out of my, do you ever go somewhere and you get the same ice cream? Am I the only person? I have like this, it's like a routine. You know, my life is routines and I'm trying to break out of that a little bit. I'm really trying. But I always get like the same flavor ice cream or the same family of flavor ice cream. But they had it was tropical coconut. I'm like, I don't even know, but I hope it tastes like a pina colada. Close. It was amazing. It was like pineapple-y and limey with coconut, but it was toasted coconut. It was delicious. And I got it on a cone, which I never do. Like I was way out there. Yes. I was rogue yesterday, guys. I was being crazy. I got it on a cone. I normally don't get a cone because it's messy, and I usually like my ice cream goopy. I'm the person that like lets the pint sit out on the counter for about a half an hour before I eat it. Does that make any sense to anyone else but me? I like it smooth, which is why I love gelato. It's super smooth. But this ice cream was just super good. And I was like, you know what? It's nice out. It's like a perfect 83 degrees. It was overcast and with little hints of sun. There was a beautiful breeze. We were by the river. I'm like, you know what? I'm feeling just sassy today. Get me a sugar cone. And I got one. And it was awesome. And I didn't even get it all over me. And I got to eat the whole cone, which I don't think I've done in like 10, 20 years. I don't know. It's been a long time, that's for sure. That's what's going on. I have some other stuff I want to talk about, but I'm going to stick with the Italian series right now, and then we'll come back to that at the end. Because I'll be honest with you, I had something go down, and I'm still processing it properly. Like I'm not reacting emotionally to it. I'm literally just trying to react normally, which has been super hard. But I'm not ready to talk about it. So we'll just leave it there. Sorry for the teaser. I'm sorry. But we're going back to Italy. Parma, Italia. We were there June. Where were we in Parma? We were in Parma the 8th. 9th and 10th. So 8th was a travel day. 10th was a travel day. So we only really had one full day in Parma. But I always try to make the best out of it. I mean, you know, you got to do what you got to do. We've never been there. It seemed pretty small. I will say that Parma wound up being my favorite place. I liked it just as much as Venice. I thought I would hate it. And I'm like, it's just going to be small. You can eat some cheese, some prosciutto, and you're done. I loved it. It was spectacular. We wound up taking the train in again. We don't mind the trains. When we got out of the Parma train station, that was an issue because we didn't have a car. So we thought we would take the bus, but it's like, I'm going to take the bus with a bunch of suitcases. I'm just saying, you know what I mean? But it was really hard. We couldn't get an Uber to save our lives. And our niece just randomly was like, saw a guy in a black car. He was a driver. He had the sign and all that kind of stuff. was not a random guy. But he was kind of like at the side of where we were waiting, where the buses and all the cabs were coming. Couldn't get a cab either, right? So I'm trying to like call a cab, trying to do all this stuff. So the cab lady's trying to explain to me that we can't get the Uber and taxi won't pick up right outside the station. You have to walk like a couple blocks down. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, this makes sense now, right? Duh. But in the meantime, my niece is like, Antonice, come here. This guy's like, I think he can give us a ride. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So I always tell Mr. Sith, because I let him make the negotiation, always get the price up front. Never get into a car anywhere in Italy or any foreign country for that matters, unless you find out, you give them the address and you get the price up front. Because if you don't, if you get in, they could charge you 150 euro for a 20 euro ride and you're stuck. You can argue it all you want, but you got in the car. This way they'll know you'll walk. You know what I'm saying? So he was like the nicest guy. The car was small. I mean, we had 2 suitcases on our laps. We filled all of them up in the trunk. And he was like, here's the thing. I can take you to the address. I'm not working for like Uber or nothing. I work for, and it was some other company that like rode people to and from like a convention center or something, right? And he goes, but I can take you, but the only problem is I cannot charge you. And here's us. Are you kidding me right now? Like, wait, what? So like our first interaction with a person from Parma was, hey, I can drive you, but I can't take money from you. And I'm like, okay, are you sure? And so he piled us all in his car and took us to Parma, to our apartment. Our apartment, this is where it all got surprising for me. It was very residential. There were houses and apartments, but it was very reminiscent of where I lived in downtown Chicago. It reminded me, if you know, you know, it reminded me of like Gold Coast, Lincoln Park vibes. And the streets were lined with linden trees. Now, we didn't know what they were called at first, but I looked them up and Googled and did the reverse step and all that. And we are 100% sure that they're linden trees. They leave these tiny little yellow petals. They get everywhere. They'll be in your hair, your shoes, everywhere. They smell glorious. Like it is, the wind blows and that's all you smell is this light, fragrant floral. Now, if you're allergic to trees and flowers, this is probably going to be super shitty for you. But it smelled so good. I mean, I'm allergic to trees, not all trees, but like I really liked it. It was amazing. So we met the person coming into our apartment. We rented from a family, and it was the most beautiful apartment. It was gorgeous. And mind you, these apartments are not new. I mean, they're not historical, you know what I'm saying? But what a beautifully well-maintained. Everything was impeccable. They left us cookies for the morning, coffee, coffee makers, milk. He left milk in the fridge so that if the kids if we needed it for our coffee or the kids needed it for the cookies, I'm like, stop. It was just wonderful. They were a wonderful, wonderful couple. The apartment, like I said, it was my flavor. Now, I've mentioned this on the other podcast. This particular apartment, it had laundry, but it did not have air conditioning. Not needed. 100%, because it had tons of balcony doors, 2 balcony doors, 3 balcony doors. 3 balconies, and just all you had to do was open them up, lift the blinds. They have the big blinds, the shutter blinds, and then just open them up. Now, they don't do screens, but we didn't have any issues with bugs at all. I don't know if it's because we were high up or what, but it was wonderful. And at night, it cooled down to like 69. So you had this beautiful cool breeze, and every time it came in, we had fans. You could smell the breeze of the linden. I slept the best there. It was amazing. I can't say enough about that apartment. Highly recommend. So we ate at a local restaurant that was right down the way. It had great reviews of kind of being like Italian fusion. Really nice place. It was like a 3-minute walk, not even. Mr. Sith also went to a local store and got sliced prosciutto because hello, we're in Parma. If you're in Parma and not getting Parma prosciutto or Parmesan cheese, then why are you there? So needless to say, we had that and some melon. We got some melon because melon and prosciutto is amazing together. So we ate our first night in Parma. We loved this place, but it was delicious. I got the pasta carbonara, as did Peter, and it was to die for. My niece got the amatriciana. Is that what it's called? Amatriciana. I think that's what it is. It's a tomato-based sauce. I will tell you this, that they came out to apologize that they were going to bring our meal, but hers wasn't coming out because the chef said that he overcooked the noodle. And because the pasta was overcooked, he had to remake the sauce because he refused to serve her pasta that was overcooked. And here's me. I love Italy. Because in America, they would have just served you some mushy ass noodles. There's just that. And she said it was amazing. She even did some scarpetta at the end. It was delicious. And then there was a little gelateria on the corner, that 2-minute walk. I mean, everything was so close. So we had some gelato, tons of cats. We were at a corner that had a beautiful fountain, like at the main street that you would walk down. And that's kind of what we did. You literally could walk down this like main street that took you into like the historical center. I don't think it was more than 8 minutes, but it was a beautiful walk of just seeing all these gorgeous doors, and doors are beautiful everywhere but here, apparently. I don't know. But I absolutely love seeing doors on buildings when I travel. They were this way in London. Italy just has some gorgeous doors, as did Vienna and Slovakia. But wow, like the doors in Italy are to die for. Beautiful lanterns, little nooks and crannies. The historical center in Parma is tiny. It's tiny. You can do it all in one day. I just wanted to stay longer to kind of feel like I wanted to be there longer. We wound up stopping at this little place for coffee. So nice. Got some pastries. Saw a beautiful, beautiful church. Like I said, you see the outside looks so nondescript. It's so like just anything, right? Just this almost seems like a cement structure, a brick. And then you go inside and it blows your mind away because of all of this beautiful art and painting and stainless steel and marble, and it's everywhere. We stood out in the circle, or the piazza, just to kind of like hang out, look at the different towers, the beautiful trees. We were going to take one of those electric trams, but we waited so long. Welcome to buses and stuff in Italy. We waited longer for the damn bus here again than we did. We're like, we could just walk. And then finally we're like, okay, we can take the bus. So we wound up getting on the bus and going like 2 stops. But sometimes it's fun to just have the experience, right? Now, I will tell you, I'm going to preface this. Remember I told you that when you buy train tickets in Italy, you have to get them validated unless they're on your phone. And then when you get on the train, they scan it. It validates it for you. Okay. So the same is for buses. You can pay like with currency to get on, or you can buy like a bus card and you just scan it on the machine, or they're really good with pay by phone, right? So you just scan it and then you go. Okay. So they say, be very careful how you're scanning if you're on your phone. Make sure that you are seeing that those charges are going through, because, and this is going to be really important at the end of this story. It is very important that even though you got a green light when your phone scanned, that it is going through. All right. I'm going to say it again. Even though you're getting a red, like a green light on the scanner, make sure that your bank didn't kick it back, because we found out literally midway through the entire trip, our credit card, and I had already spoke to the bank 3 times. Our credit card was give or take whether or not it went through. We had cash, we had euro, but still, I didn't want to blow through all my cash when I've got like a whole travel account, right? Now, I went, did all the things with the bank, and we wound up speaking to somebody who finally figured it out for us, is that sometimes it went through and sometimes it didn't. The one thing it did not go through on, okay, were when you did the auto pay. If it failed on the auto pay, the tap touch, okay, if it failed on that with your card, the guy said, put the card into the machine. Sometimes he said the American banks don't want the tap abroad. They want it inside the machine. And once we did that, we did not have any problems. Okay. But we didn't know that when we were tapping to get on the buses. Okay. So Mr. Sith is paying for me and him, and my niece, she paid for all of her, it's like a couple euro, right, to get on the buses. And so I was like, okay, cool. No big deal. So we took it to the Garibaldi Salumeria. Okay, it's a pretty well-known Salumeria, but the greatest thing is that it's really popular with the locals. I loved seeing that so many locals were there for lunch and all that, but you could go in there and do a tasting, okay? But it's the Garibaldi Salumeria in Parma, and so we got the prosciutto tasting. So they give you a bunch of prosciutto and this amazing bread. It's like flatbread that is made into squares and deep fried, so they pop open. Does that make sense? They fluff, so they're kind of empty inside, and then you can, I was putting the prosciutto in it. We got some sides. We did. They had a octopus loaf. That I don't even know how they did it, because it wasn't jellyish. I thought it was going to be very like gelatinish, but it wasn't. It was very flavorful. But it was octopus and cut into like lunch meat. I don't know how they did it. It was amazing. We did some artichokes. We did rolled up like grilled zucchini with like almost a ricotta and tomato basil center. Those were like really, really yummy. And just walking around and looking at everything. It was just so nice. We found out near our apartment, we kept hearing like almost like music, like cheering and crowd. Turns out we were literally like a 5-minute walk the opposite direction of the local soccer stadium. So that was kind of cool. So they were having an event at the soccer stadium, and I was like, this is so cool. I'm like, didn't even know this. So then we wound up going later that night or the next day. Later that night, we wound up going over to they have a big park. It's gorgeous. It's just picture like a park that is enclosed like a fortress with these big brick and stone walls. And they had rides for the kids and parks and a little trampoline area and little vendors. Think carnival. The boys did bumper cars. There was a ride that I don't know what it's called, but I don't know. I call it the Viking because I'm pretty sure it was called the Viking when I was a kid. But it's kind of like, it looks like a pyramid, and then it swings back and forth, swings back and forth. And then I think sometimes it can go all the way around. Needless to say, Peter was adventurous and went on this with my niece. And about maybe 5 minutes into the ride, when he realized how high he was going, that was it. And so she did call, like, have him stop it, please. And so we were going over, I was walking over to the vendor, and there was a group of Italian, like older people, like my age, older people, like my age, maybe younger. They were all hanging out, just kind of drinking together, like they were a couples, right? And so he heard my niece yelling from the ride to stop it for him, for the little one. And so he told the guy in Italian, they need to get off. And so they did. He stopped it. It was no big deal. They all asked if he was okay. But I mean, he looked like he had fun while he was doing it, right? Later that day, we walked and went to a pizza place. They had other things besides pizza, but they specialized in pizza, but it was called Parma Cittadello, Cittadello. So Parma Cittadello. They had wonderful pizza. Wonderful, wonderful. It was very, very good. We had a great time. And that was our thing. After Parma, we wound up having a good night's sleep. I always like to clean up. I loved that apartment, and I loved those people. They gave us a great review, and I gave them a great review in return because it was worth every penny to stay there. It was so convenient. It was located close to everything. We really didn't have to, outside of just wanting to get on a bus to see it, it wasn't a big deal. So we wound up the next day getting up, and when we left Parma, we took our suitcases, obviously, and went to the corner where the bus would pick us up by the big fountain, right? Where the gelato place was originally and the food place. It was literally, like I said, 4-minute walk from the house. So we get on the bus, and, my niece scans, I scan, or Mr. Sith scans for me and him. So everything's fine. But when we get on with our suitcases, there was a lady who was standing near us, and she kind of stink-eyed us. And I was just like, buongiorno, I don't want to be rude, but like at the same time, like, I understand you're probably going to work, but it is, Wednesday. I think it was a Wednesday when we left. I'm not sure. When did we leave Parma? Oh, we left Parma on a Tuesday. So yeah, I mean, they were probably just going to work, blah, blah, blah. But there was something odd about this woman. You know how you just know, right? So when she wound up getting off, we were getting off at the stop after her, which was the station. So all of a sudden, we're approached by basically the bus police. And I'm like, my niece looked at me and she goes, I think that lady reported us. I'm like, reported us for what? I don't even know. Whatever. And so there was a lack of communication because there was so much stuff going down quickly, and we were on the bus, but we were trying to tell them that could we get off the bus because I don't want to miss my stop, and then we could discuss it outside. Like, I didn't understand why they would just have us on a bus while we're driving around the city. It just seemed odd to me. So they finally agreed to that. And I was like, okay, thank you. And so never once were we rude. We were just whatever. But I'm also trying to absorb the conversation and understand what they're saying, but at the same time, like, whatever. So what they wanted was proof of our tickets. And I said, well, we scanned our tickets, right? So my niece doesn't have any like coverage, so she can't pull up anything. And so I'm trying to give her hotspot at the same time, but she's not really understanding what she's supposed to be pulling up. We figured it out after the fact, but what happened was, like I had mentioned earlier, I don't know if this woman saw something or knew, but we scanned and it turned green. I mean, Mr. Sith's an Eagle Scout, and he's certainly not a liar. He said he scanned it and it was green. We're not here to get free $1.20, euro ride in Parma. You know what I mean? We don't want that for free. But we could not provide, outside of that it turned green, I could not pull up our bank stuff to look at it. It hadn't gone through yet mobily. And I'm like, this is such bullshit. Because don't forget, at the time we are at, it's in the morning in America. Like, we're talking like 4, 2, 3 a.m. And so nothing's probably uploaded, or it's still downloading overnight. And I'm like, this is insane right now, because, and we knew that this stuff happens. Like, I'm aware that they check, your whether or not you're valid, that you've had it been validated on the things. We're really good at knowing all this when we travel. Well, let's put it this way. We could not provide anything to them. So we had to produce our passports, and they wrote us fucking tickets. When I say they write us tickets, is that the adults, the kid's free, so Peter doesn't matter. We had to pay 75 euro a piece. A piece. You guys, it's like $83. Okay? To leave Parma. It's not like you can pay them back later. Okay, and a lot of people are like, well, I paid and then I just put a stop to that and dispute it. Okay, that's great. But if you travel to Parma again, now you could be in even more trouble if they nab you because you canceled it. And I'm like, oh, this is insane. Or you could be flagged in their system. I'm like, no. So I basically told the guy, and I was using my translator at that point because I wanted him to fully understand what we were saying, was that at no time did we ever intentionally try to override the system, that our phone is not working, and that now we know in the future we will only pay cash to get on or get the train card, right? Or the bus card, because this way we just show them the bus card. And then he's like, well, the ticket that they give you, right, that you pay for, the receipt, includes the bus for the rest of the day. And I'm like, well, that's not good. That's fucking doing me now. But you know what I'm saying? I was like slightly agitated, but understood that we got caught. Now, mind you, when we came home, when we were back in America, we saw all the times our fucking bank kicked that damn charge out. Like, for real? $240. It kept kicking it out. And when I say $240, I mean like $3. $3 fucking dollars my bank kept kicking out. But they were putting through all these other large charges. And it was because it was a scan. It was a tap. And it didn't want that. Now, had we had a place to put in the credit card, and I don't know that that was the case. I don't know if Uncle Carl. I don't know that Mr. Sith could have put his card into the machine, because I mean, hindsight's 2020. We got the tickets, we had to pay them, blah, blah, blah. But I will tell you, it is really important. So, lesson learned, I will never tap a phone anywhere in Europe again unless I have a European bank account. So there's that. Boom. Now, did that entirely spoil my trip and do all about that? No, it didn't. Because that's just part of traveling. And lesson learned. It was an expensive lesson learned, but it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? It was no big deal. We can't contest it. We can't do whatever because it didn't go through. And the rule is the rule. And it clearly states everywhere that there are no ifs, ands, or buts. You either paid for the ticket or you didn't pay for the ticket. And they seemed super nice, but they can't be like on a one-on-one basis with all of these tourists from different countries, regardless of that I'm from America or whatever, doesn't make me any more special. Regardless of the fact that we didn't do it intentionally, I'm sure they get tons and tons and tons of people who, and we witnessed this on the trains with some of the migrants that sit in the doors and talk to each other on their phones, and they're each sitting at a door at a car. And what is that about? And a lot of times they've been asked for tickets and they don't have tickets. And they just sit there and will talk themselves blue until basically the Italian conductor would be like, whatever. And they call it in. And then what would happen? They would leave. And then we would see that the one sitting in our car that was talking to the guy in the car behind us, they would switch places. It is what it is. They don't have time to sit here and try to deal about extraneous circumstances and individual people. Their job is the ticket is invalidated. The fare was invalidated. So here's the ticket. And basically the onus is on us as travelers to make sure that we're doing it. Did I know? No, I thought we were doing it, but clearly we weren't. So it is what it is. A lesson learned. That's all I got for you guys today. I will talk to you next Wednesday. Until then, lead with kindness. Bye.